Doing today? I am fired up. If you guys can hear me okay, go ahead and type in the chat, type yes, and also let me know where you're calling in from. I am so pumped for today's training session. My man Peter is bummed that he couldn't make it. He's actually in Japan speaking right now. He just texted me a couple hours ago. He had a crazy day. Speaking with Timothy Sykes and Gary Vee and some of the biggest names out there. But we're going to go through some amazing stuff here today, guys. And I'm just super pumped to get into it. So there's about a 45-second delay between when I talk and when you guys see me. So the chat will be a little bit delayed. But what's up, Phil? Hey, my friend. Excited for you guys to be here. Excited to get into this stuff, to show you kind of what I've done working with Peter, kind of building up his brand to be one of today's top influencers in the world. So I know a lot of you guys had emailed in your questions and your goals and what you're looking to get out of this. And a lot of you want to build up that online influence, that online brand. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I've kind of been the guy behind the scenes working with so many influencers, but we've got Phil, Jalen, Adrian. Phil, what time is it for you, my friend? I know you're on the other side of the world. Paul, what's up, guys? Guys, we're going to get started here in just a second. But today's training is pretty special because we're going to talk about some strategy. All right. If you have a good strategy, that makes everything else that you do so much easier. There's a hard way to do it, and there's an easy way to do it, all right? And now, are things going to be easy if you want to make $1 million? No, not necessarily. But are they going to be a hell of a lot easier if you have a good strategy? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you today. I wish I knew this stuff when I was starting out. 3 p.m. here in Brazil. Lucas, where are you at in Brazil? Absolutely love Brazil. 4 a.m. Phil, you're a crazy man. You're like committed to your success and you're committed to your education. So I'm excited to share this with you, Phil. Cool, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get started. If you have any tech issues at all, I'm going to be sharing my screen. If you can't hear my audio or if you have any issues at all, press refresh. That's usually the best thing that you can do. And if that doesn't work, try it again. And if that doesn't work, then go ahead and type in the chat. I'm going to be checking it here. So I've got the chat open as I share my screen, and I'll be looking at your guys' questions. Now, oh, I love Sao Paulo. But the more questions that you guys have, the better, the more that you're engaged, the more that you're going to take away from this. And I really want this to be something that really, really opens your eyes to what you can do in the future. Because at the end of the day, what Peter and I talk about every single day is how to build a life and business on your terms. And it just pains me to my core to see so many people that are either in a job that they hate or in a business that they hate, that they've created themselves, right? Well, we're going to talk about how to build online influence, how to build up that brand, how to ultimately monetize it in the biggest and best way. So with that said, you got to go. Let's get right into it. What's up, Ashton? Hey, Kathy. Kathy, hopefully you can hear me now. Sometimes plugging and unplugging your headphones works, or pressing refresh directly on YouTube. Oh, cool. Gage, awesome. Sam, what's up, Sam from the UK? Glad that you can join us. Miles, awesome, guys. Well, we're going to get into it. What's up, Nicholas? All right, guys, I'm going to share my screen. It's go time. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Share entire screen. You guys can see my screen. New York in the house. What's up, Joel? What's up? Hey, guys, Peter's bummed that he couldn't make this. I think I already mentioned this, but it's 3 a.m. There in Tokyo. He's speaking with Gary Vee and Timothy Sykes and whatnot. But he wanted to make sure that we continued on to talk about this because we've been getting so many questions. And what we're going to do today is simplify things so that you've got an action plan. All right. There's too much fluff out there. There's too much BS, frankly, that people are trying to teach you. Well, we're going to show you the proven 4-step system to build massive online influence. Let's see. Like, I'll get the push reminder. Yeah, Timothy, that's what we do. We got Maine in the house. All right, guys, I'm going to shut down chat for just a second as we go through this. Get out your pen, get out your paper, shut down Facebook, because this next 45 to 60 minutes is going to be a game changer for you. All right. I'm going to move fast. And if you guys have questions or want me to slow down, just go ahead and type in the chat. But most of you guys want me to move fast because you want to get as much value out of this. I respect you guys' time just like I respect my own. So we're getting right into it. All right. So first, what brought you here today? What's your big goal for the next 6 months? All right. Think about that. A lot of you already emailed in that you want to make more money, or somebody even said, I want to retire my parents, or maybe you want to quit your job. What is it that you ultimately want to do? Maybe it's you want to build an influencer business. All right. I want you to write that down because as I go through so much of this training, if you're clear on what you want to get out of it, you're going to get the solutions. All right. You're going to get the answers. You're going to get the roadmap so that you can apply it in your life and business. All right. So go ahead and type that in. I'd love to see what you guys are excited about getting out of this. Okay. So my goal number one is to make this a training that you're going to remember years from now. I know that's a big promise, but what I'm going to share is the strategy stuff that could literally, actually, it's going to change a few people on this live training's life. And that's a big, bold statement. But this is the strategy that I wish I knew when I was starting out. Let me cancel this, clean my Mac thing. All right, cool. Goal number two is I want to show you the ultimate secret weapon to grow your influence, impact, and income this year. All right. This year, we're going to show you the secret weapon. Next is break it down into something simple that you can start following today, not 5 years from now, starting today, because it's about building influence and that drives all your opportunities. So why this matters? Well, this matters so much because the world is getting busier. All right. A new social media platform, or people are distracted with so much like information that if you don't separate yourself, you're never going to make it in their mind. And if you don't make it into their mind, guess what? Your business isn't going to matter, right? It's about separating yourself. We've got an instant to be able to convince people that we're the right fit for them. All right. I'm going to show you how we do that day in and day out, how we've done that for the last couple of years. So who are we? You guys know my partner, Peter Voog, awesome guy, awesome influencer. And we're going to talk a lot about him today and what we've done behind the scenes. But my name's Austin Netzley. I'm the CEO and founder of Epic Launch. But Peter and I are both best-selling authors. That's how we initially connected. We've made a combined 6 figures or more in 12 different industries combined. And we've got a couple programs together, such as 6 months to 6 figures in our high-end inner circle. And we're partners in Game Changers Academy, which is one of our flagship offerings. But we've worked together for the past probably 2.5, almost 3 years now, just over 2.5 years. And it all started with 6 months to 6 figures. And if you guys haven't read this book yet, I know most of you have. That's how most of you got, became aware of Peter. It is an absolute game changer. So we launched this book and it just took off. It now has nearly 5,000 reviews and ratings between audible.com and amazon.com. Peter's been on the homepage of Audible for a couple years now, next to Tony Robbins and some of the best books of all time. He's been featured on Forbes and Entrepreneur and Inc. and every single place that you can imagine an influencer being featured on. He's one of the top 6 millennial mentors to follow, along with Gary Vee and Ramit Sethi and Marie Forleo. He just spoke at Success with Brandon Burchard and Mel Robbins and Tom Bilyeu and Les Brown and just so many of the top influencers in the world. And today we're going to talk about how he got there. Okay. Does that sound like it'll be something interesting to you? And then my company. So what we did, basically, on the back end of my book, I had a lot of success and started getting so many questions. And I've since, in the past 2.5 years, worked with hundreds of authors and influencers like Carrie Carbonaro, who you see on CNBC, or Brian Tracy, the legend Brian Tracy. He's a New York Times bestselling author and just an awesome, awesome person. Of course, Peter Voog and a lot of self-published authors and upcoming and rising influencers. I've helped authors move over 1.7 million books and ultimately turn those books into dollars on the back end. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. But more importantly, we've helped people quit their job or support their family or impact millions of lives or create their dream business and finally start living life on their terms. All right. As I talked about to start here, that's what it's all about. Living on your terms, creating a business on your terms, creating your dream income and lifestyle all at the same time. And today, I'm going to show you how you can do the same exact thing. So 3 secrets, right? 3 secrets that you need to know. Number 1 is we're going to go through the common influencer roadmap that the biggest names all use, but don't share with you. I'm going to show you the simple 4-step system used to turn your secret weapon, which I'm going to share, into $44,000 in 7 days on the side of a full-time job. I'm going to share with you a case study there, and I'm going to share with you the one strategy that you need to do no matter what industry you're in to make this all work, and this is going to make or break your success. I want to break this down for you. I'm really excited about that one. So let's get right into it. Secret number 1 is the common influencer roadmap that the biggest names don't share with you. I don't know why this isn't talked about more, but today I'm going to reveal it to you, okay? So let me back up for just a second. My first 9 months online, okay? So I was in a 6-figure job. I was headed down the corporate path. I was, on the fast track, whatever you want to call it. Everything was going well. And then I learned about entrepreneurship. And I learned about potentially creating a life and business on my terms, not the corporate's terms, on my terms. And I started out online. I saw other people crushing it, and I was failing. My email list was growing basically not at all. 0 to 3 subscribers per day. Then I saw some people in my mastermind network that are coming out with online programs, and they were crushing. And I was like, that's what I need. I need an online program. All right. There's residual income. It's got all these great benefits. I'm going to do it. I'm going to come out with this online program. I put in all this work. I led up to it, and I had 4 sales. In my worst expectations, I expected 25 sales of this online program that I think I was selling for $297 or $397, something super low, and it only had 4 sales. When I broke it down, in my first 9 months, I made a mere $2,200 or per hour, $157 per hour. All right. I had left corporate America. I left the fast track. I left the 6-figure job, tried to make it on my own, and I failed. And I failed bad. And it was embarrassing, right? Because people around me expected a lot of success, and they saw me have success in this area and that area and this area before. But doing it online where there was kind of a public profile, it was embarrassing. All right. But before I quit, I had to go back to the drawing board. I reverse engineered the greats, the people that I admired at the time. Gary Vee, Tim Ferriss, Grant Cardone, Marie Forleo, Brian Tracy, Robert Kiyosaki. What is it that they did? What did they do to get to their position? What did they do to ultimately become the influencers that they are? What did they do differently that I wasn't doing? Well, the answer hit me like a ton of bricks. They all had one thing in common. They all used the same exact strategy to explode their credibility, to explode their reach. And that was, they came out with a book. All right. But then the doubts started filling my mind. But who am I to write a book? I don't have any influence. I don't have any story. I'm 20-something years old. Like, nobody wants to read a book for me. I'm not a good writer. I'm an engineer. I'm good with numbers. I'm definitely not good with words, right? And I don't have a big enough audience. I've got a small email list. Like, it's just not going to be a success, right? All these doubts were going through my mind. But then I broke it down and I looked at, okay, so what does their career path look like? Because I knew I wanted to do this long term. I knew I wanted to ultimately impact a lot of lives and have this business that I could travel and keep a lifestyle. So I looked at their long-term career path. And they all started with the book. Then they created some type of flagship authoring, whether it be coaching or speaking or an online program or in-person event or multiple products. Then they started to really get partners and drive up Facebook ads and all these different sources of traffic. Then they just repeated that. How many people do you know that have a book that are influencers that don't have more than one book? Why? Because it works, right? So the key piece of all this is that first step. It's always the first step. That's the most important piece, right? Most people are thinking about Facebook ads and this and that and the other when they're not looking at the first step, okay? The book, the tool that's going to differentiate you, that's going to get that respect that you ultimately need. For instance, you didn't know who Tim Ferriss was before the 4-Hour Workweek, right? You didn't follow Gary Vee until after his book Crush It. You didn't even know who Robert Kiyosaki was until Rich Dad Poor Dad. And you didn't follow Peter until 6 months to 6 figures, right? So the book is the tool. And it makes sense. Think of the power of a book if you do it right. It gives you immediate, I'm talking immediate credibility and authority, right? Differentiates you, right? It gets your prospects to know, like, and trust you. If somebody reads your book, they really like you. They really trust you. It attracts media attention, which is a game changer, and gives massive value to the marketplace. And best of all this can be capitalized. And that's what I needed. That's what I needed to turn around my struggling online business. So I came out with a book called Make Money, Live Wealthy. And self-published book. I put it together using some podcast interviews that I did. And I put together a strategic launch strategy, and boom, it took off. 32,000 units downloaded in the first week. Actually, that was in the first 36 hours. First 36 hours, it went viral within my niche. And I was like trying so hard to get featured on these different outlets and whatnot beforehand, and nobody was listening to me. Nobody was responding to my emails. Nobody was doing any interviews or article features or letting me even guest post. But then afterwards, they all started coming to me. Within a couple of days, I was featured on the Washington Post, Yahoo Business. It was like I was on the homepage of all these websites. It was like me and Obama just taking over the internet at the time. Again, I went viral within my niche. And then the cool thing is, the momentum took off from there on the back end. My income and opportunities exploded. Remember, 9 months, $2,200 to boom, $106,000 in just 30 days. How? That's what I'm going to share with you. So what I realized is that the book is an even better growth tool than I imagined. And then I talked with Peter. Peter told me about this concept of his book, 6 months to 6 figures. And I was like, oh man, I think I can crush it with this book. I think I've got a good launch strategy here. I think I've got, a good way to ultimately turn this into what you're looking for. And we launched it and it took off. Same exact thing, but even better. In the first 30 days, he made over $23,000 in royalties. He's since gone on to make over $450,000 in royalties, which, as I'm about to show you, are pennies compared to what happens on the back end. His email list absolutely exploded. He went from being somebody that's hustling hard and trying to make it online to somebody that's an influencer, somebody that's at the top of his game, the top of his niche. He's now speaking on the biggest stage. In fact, the reason why he's not here is he's speaking on one of the biggest stages in the world with Timothy Sykes, Gary Vee, some of the biggest influencers in the world. He can travel and do this. And I want to teach you guys how you can do the same thing. So that was validation. That was the validation that, you know what? Books work. All right. They work to rapidly separate yourself from your competition and grow a brand and business, but also that these strategies are repeatable. And they're repeatable and not only used for New York Times bestselling authors, these are for people that are just starting out like me, right? That don't have an email list, that don't have a big brand or a big following or really even any connections at the time, right? So the tool that you're going to use to ultimately get to your goal. What's your goal? Where you want to be 12 months from now? What's that dream life and business look like? What's that dream schedule look like? All right, get clear on that goal. The tool that we're going to use to get there is a book, and the strategies is what we're going through next. Sound good, guys? Cool. Secret number 2 here. The simple system that an quote unquote average Joe used to earn $44,000 on the side in 7 days. Let's get into it. So the next doubt after I really looked at and understood the influencer roadmap and the kind of the career path is I thought, but books don't really make that much money, right? They don't make any money actually from my research. And it's true. Most books don't make much of any money at all. The average royalties is $1.12 per book. Right? That's how much you're going to take in profit from a book sale on average. And the average book sells 250 copies in the first year. So that means in the first year through royalties, you're making $280 from the book. That's not going to cut it, right? That's not going to create that dream life and business, right? So there's got to be a different way. Because we've, since our book launches, have each turned our books into over $1 million each. What's the difference? Well, strategy number one is that your book is more than just a book. Your book is a tool. And don't listen to me. Listen to one of the best marketers that's alive today, Dan Kennedy. He says your book on its own will never amount to much, but place it within a marketing system and you have the power to transform your business. I'm going to talk about that marketing system. But first, let's break down some numbers to show you guys kind of the way that you need to think about this. So book royalties versus program sales. So let's say, just for simplicity's sake, that your goal is to make $50,000, okay? So if your goal is to sell books and at $1.12 per book, you need to sell 41,667 books. But let's say you want to build an online business. So instead, you want to build an online program and you sell it for $297. It's high profit margins there. So you only need to sell 168 to get to $50,000. But let's take it one step further. Let's say that you come out with a high ticket offering. Maybe it's a done-for-you service, or maybe it's a 3-month coaching package, or maybe it's a speaking gig, or maybe it's whatever it is. High ticket sale. Let's say that you sell it at $19.97 per sale. To get to $50,000, you only need 25 of those in an entire year, right? So which would you rather try to do? Try to sell 41,000 copies of a book, which we've done many times, or would you try to focus on the numbers and get 25 sales in the same amount of time? I know which one I'd rather focus on. It's economy of scale. It's the economy of numbers, guys. And the extra cool thing about this is that the book actually leads to high ticket sales. If somebody reads a book of yours and they make it through the end, odds are they like what they read. Odds are they want more from you, right? Give them more and charge them more than you're going to be able to charge for a book, right? Yeah, Nicholas says 2.5 a month sounds good. Sorry, I'm reading so many comments at once. Stephen, if you're saying I need to write a book about tequila, I am in. Stephen, we'll talk about that. So guys, we're talking a little bit about the book right now, but all that you need is that secret tool. I'm going to share with you how my mentor doesn't even have a book. He has a different tool that's very similar that he uses to drive his online brand and business that he's making almost $1 million a month. You imagine that? It's crazy, right? So I don't care what industry you're in. We're using a tool to get exposure and credibility to drive to what we really want. Okay, so let's break this down. So just imagine for a second, we talked about that 25 versus 41,000. Let's imagine if you're just out there just marketing your book. Okay, that's what you do. You're just out there, you're just marketing your book. You're giving value. People love to read books, right? You guys love to read books, most of you, right? And what's going to happen naturally from that, as we talked about, it's going to lead to some high ticket offerings. But let's assume that you're just out there marketing your book and it drives people to get you one sale at $19.97 per week. Per week, okay? Let's break down the numbers. So simple math to 6 figures. So one sale at $19.97 per week, 52 weeks in a year, right there, you've got a 6-figure business. Just from one book and one offering. Just by marketing the book. Again, people will filter to you if you do it right, easily. Is this more than possible for you guys? Right? You guys see the power of this? because I'm sharing with you some simple numbers. The reason why I get so excited about this is because there's the potential to do a lot bigger numbers than this, right? Cool. So this is the influencer business strategy, guys. This is what people aren't talking about. This is what the New York Times bestselling authors and the influencers that you follow, this is what they do, okay? They've got multiple offerings, and they use the book as a tool to attract people into their brand and up the ladder, all right? The problem that 95% of people have, the 95% of entrepreneurs have, is they're never able to differentiate themselves. They're never able to get that attention, right? They're never able to really stand out in the marketplace to attract people to their brand and to their business. But the solution that I'm sharing with you guys, after being behind the scenes, after working with so many influencers and New York Times bestselling authors and seven-figure entrepreneurs and on and on and on and on, this is the solution. Cool? Good? So why is this so powerful? Number one is the numbers. The numbers just make sense. If it doesn't make sense on paper, it doesn't make sense in real life. All right? We got to get the numbers to work first, which this obviously does. And number two is the domino effect. So the domino effect basically means once you come out with your book, that's the tool that opens up all these other opportunities. That's the tool that just drives everything else. Whether you want speaking gigs, or you want partnerships, or you want to come out with courses, or you want this, that, or the other, more customers, more clients, more, raise your prices. It all happens when you trigger the book. Make sense? So let me share with you a case study to break this down. This is, and I could share with you, influencer after influencer and person that you know left and right to show you results, but I want to share with you a quote unquote average Joe. So this is Bozy Dar. He called himself an unknown course creator. He came out with his book using this strategy called Promoted, which is to help people obviously advance their career. And he used the book as a tool. He used it as a tool to attract people to his brand and ultimately towards his offering. And his offering was an online course. So what he did with this is some crazy results. He used the book as a tool, doing this strategy. He got 9,000 leads. I'm not going to share with you the last piece. He got 9,000 leads in a very short period of time. He went on to turn his book into $44,000 in sales on the side of a full-time job. He was working full-time. I think it was like 50 or 60 hours a week. And he didn't have exactly extra time, but he did all this on the side of his full-time job in 7 days. 7 days. Is that pretty crazy or what? So here's like fact number two, is that the book becomes the centerpiece of your brand and business that leads to more of what you really want. All right. I had you guys think about what you really want. All right. What's that dream business look like? Are you going to be traveling the world speaking like Peter does? Are you going to be doing some one-on-one coaching? Are you going to host live events? Are you just trying to grow your agency? Are you trying to grow your offline business? Whatever it is, this book, are you a financial planner? Like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Are you selling tequila like my man is? All right. So let's get into it. Secret number three, the one practice to make this all work. This is super, super important for no matter what industry again. So next doubt, but I can't be nearly as successful as Peter. I can't do what Gary Vee does. I can't become the next Robert Kiyosaki. I can't be the next Marie Forleo. I can't do this and that and the other and the other. Right? We're all in our head. Whereas where I want to share with you is how you ultimately create that person that you want to become. My favorite Tony Robbins lesson. Any Tony Robbins fans here? I love Tony. He's an awesome guy. Really, really practice what he preaches. Just brilliant. My favorite lesson, and this comes from, I think he talks about this in his documentary, I'm Not Your Guru. And he says, this guy that everybody knows, this Tony Robbins character, like, I wasn't born this way. I created this. I manufactured that Tony Robbins. All right. And that's what I want to give you guys control of here today, is you can manufacture the person that you want to become. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what your education is or where you live or what story you're telling you about where you've been. I care about where you're going. And this lesson relates to your positioning, okay? Because no matter if you're starting from scratch, you can manufacture your positioning in the marketplace for you, for your business, for your brand, for your book. You are in control of that, right? So with proper positioning, you get more leads, you get better targeted people, you can be more selective, you can raise your prices and profits, you can get a lot more media and JV partners, you get more referrals, you have more respect in the marketplace, and it all comes from position, okay? This is the number one thing to get right. This is the number one thing that people fail on trying to build their online brand and business, in my opinion. Why? Why does this work? Why is this the number one thing? Because positioning drives your influence, and your influence drives your results. We all want the results, right? How do we get results? Through opportunity. You guys are smart people. I've talked to a lot of you, right? You're smart people that you can get results if you just have the right opportunities, right? How do you get those opportunities? Well, you need to have influence. If you don't have influence, if you don't have the proper know, like, and trust factor, then you're not going to get those opportunities, right? Peter, for instance, let's just use Peter because a lot of you guys know Peter. He doesn't have to do anything and he can easily get results. Why? Because he's got influence, and with influence comes opportunities. All right, he can partner with anybody. He can go on any media outlet now. Right? So how did we get there? That's what I want to break this down for you guys. How did we get there to where he has that influence? Starts with positioning. Okay? So let's go through this. This is something that I love talking about. I get fired up about this. I work with so many of my clients on this. Actually, the first thing that I start with, whether it's a New York Times bestselling author or whether it's somebody just starting out, is their positioning. So we're going to go through the 6 elements of positioning, because remember, if you manufacture this in the right way, that drives your influence drives your results. So the 6 pieces here. Number 1 is your messaging. What's your elevator pitch? What do you help people do? Who are you talking to? Get really clear on this. Okay? Super simple. I help blank do blank so that blank. Okay? Just be able to quickly articulate that in 30 seconds or less, and you're going to be well ahead of most people. Most people, well, I help people do this, and I help people do that, and I help these kinds of people, but I also help these kinds of people. No, we want you to get really clear on your messaging. Number 2 is your tagline. All right. One of the biggest challenges that people have is they try to be too much. They try to be too general. So the way that I always teach people how to do it is to go narrow. Figure out your one thing. What's that one thing that you want to be known for? What's that one thing that you want your business and brand to be known for? Have that tagline and stay consistent to that. And if you go narrow and you have success with that, then you can expand. And then you can continue to expand, right? Tony Robbins didn't start out as a money guru. He got there by going niche first and expanding and expanding and expanding once he got momentum. Get your tagline, get your one thing. Number 3 is credibility. Credibility. Your status, your trust. What's a great way to manufacture credibility? With the book, obviously, right? Number 4, potentially the most important one, social proof. Do you have a lot of public reviews out there? Do you have endorsements from other businesses and your customers? Do you have testimonials? Do you have media proof, right? Most people don't. This is, again, a very quick way to be able to differentiate yourself. Your story. Do you have a relatable story that you can connect to your dream audience? And last but not least, do you have it all put together? That professional platform, that website, or those images, or that social media following. Does it all fit together, like with your social proof, with your branding, with your messaging, with the vibe that you want to give? Are you putting it all together? Each one of these things, guys, is very easy in and of themselves. It's just overwhelming when you think about it from how do I go from where I'm at to be the next Peter Voogd? Or how do I go from where I'm at to be the next Grant Cardone? Right? Don't think of it that way. Think of it, what are you going to do to ultimately get there? This is one of the first steps. So for instance, with Peter, I'm going to go through a couple of examples here. Peter's the leading authority for millennial entrepreneurs. He's been featured on the biggest outlets. He's got his story of how he was dead broke. He couldn't afford the Wendy's drive-through. All right. He went from that to making a six-figure income in less than 6 months. Actually, it was closer to 5 months, but 6 months sounded better for the book title, 6 months to six figures, right? You imagine that? Think about that. Peter, who so many of you guys look up to, was so broke that he couldn't afford the drive-through. Now he doesn't even eat the drive-through, obviously, but that was his story. And he connected with so many people that way. He still does, obviously. He's been featured on Time and Entrepreneur and Success and Business Insider and Forbes. He's got nearly 5,000 reviews for one book between Amazon and Audible alone. He's got endorsements from Grant Cardone and the biggest names in the space. And if you didn't know anything about Peter before I just shared that with you, instantly, in about 45 seconds of talking through this, you've got major respect for the guy. You're like, I don't know who the heck this guy is, but I need to know. He's got a lot of social proof. He's got a lot of authority. And man, I've been broke before. I can connect with that, right? So here's the thing. Nobody starts out with $1 million position. Peter didn't start out with the positioning that he has now. So don't get overwhelmed by that. Take this one step at a time, right? These are the 6 pieces. This is how you can ultimately differentiate yourself. So the easy solution for all 6 of these elements of creating your quote unquote $1 million positioning is a book, right? It affects every single piece. So do you see how all this is coming together? Do you see like what we've learned about ultimately building up your dream brand? So what we've learned, let's recap. What we've learned about building massive online influence is that you need a book, and the sooner the better. Look at it from a big picture perspective. Look at it for where you want to go long term. Look at the career paths of the people that you ultimately admire, the people that you're going to become. And you'll see that a book is that tool. You're going to use the book to drive people to your brand and up the ladder towards what you really want to sell them, things that are more lucrative than just a book. And we talked about how your positioning determines your results. Positioning leads to influence. Influence is what we're trying to create. Why? Because that drives opportunity. And opportunity, you guys are going to crush it and get results. Positioning, influence, results. Now, let me ask you a question. All right, you came here with some goals today. You came here, a lot of you want to build that online brand, build that online influence. Well, there's 3 things that you can do with this information that I shared with you. You can do what some people are going to do, and that's nothing. You're going to think about it forever, and you're just going to go on and on and on and do nothing about this information. Or you can take path number 2 and figure it out yourself. You can go and apply. You can go try to figure all these things out and do it one step at a time. That's what I did when I was starting out, but then I got wise. Or you can do it right the first time. You can hit the accelerator. You can learn the proven models and ultimately get into motion in the fastest and best way. And if that's you, I'm excited to introduce you to something that I've never shared before. Peter and I've never publicly shared before. All right. And that is the 6-figure influencer. This is our brand new masterclass program and community that's dedicated towards helping you ultimately build that brand and influence that you ultimately want. It's about 3 things. It's about impact, influence, and income. Impact, influence, and income. We've asked so many of you what you ultimately want. It's impact, influence, and income. It's a life and business on your terms. This is the proven step-by-step system to ultimately help you do exactly that. It's specifically designed to take you by the hand and help you master the 4 pieces of becoming a 6-figure influencer. Number 1, no matter what industry you're in, we're going to dial in your positioning, create that $1 million positioning. Number 2 is we're going to help you set up and launch that best-selling book. Or if you don't want a book, you can use a separate tool that I'll talk with you about. Number 3 is setting up your dream business. How are you going to monetize? Maybe it's speaking or coaching or consulting or online programs, or it's all the above, which I prefer. That's what we're going to help you set up. And then ultimately scale your traffic and exposure. The better that we do at all 4 of these elements, the better that you're going to ultimately get. not only to 6 figures, but to 7 figures and beyond. It's the same exact strategy that we use day in and day out. But the results are so you can become a leading authority in your niche, so that you can explode your brand reach and revenue, sell more products and services than ever, if you want to sell more books than ever, and ultimately so you can create a life and business on your terms. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm excited about sharing with you. These are the behind the scenes strategies, guys, that we've used to move 1.7 million books in less than 2 years, working with so many of the biggest influencers, whether it be getting people on CNBC, or with Brian Tracy, or with Kevin Ward, the real estate expert, or the fitness expert, Ari Whitten, or of course, Peter's Brand, which you guys know, and ultimately turning a book into huge dollars on the back end. So if you want to build your impact, build your influence, and build your income, this is specifically for you. Here's how we're going to do it. The 6-Figure Influencer includes 30 step-by-step training modules. It's not about fluff or theory. It's about proven strategies that work, that are meant to get you into motion, that are proven to guide you for exactly what to do one step at a time. Right? Phase number 1, we talked about creating your $1 million positioning and dialing in exactly what you need to accomplish to differentiate yourself, differentiate your brand, and set you up to be in the position of authority. Number 2 is all about creating and launching your best-selling book and leveraging that tool to drive people to your dream business. What is it that you want to do to monetize? What kind of lifestyle business do you want? That's what we're going to ultimately drive people towards. And number 4 then is all when the fun starts. That's when the traffic and exposure, you just add fuel to the fire and blow it up. That's the same formula that Grant Cardone and Gary Vee and Tim Ferriss and Brian Tracy and Marie Forleo and Peter use day in and day out. It's the same formula that we are using to take our brand to 8 figures. All right. So if you want to become the next Tim Ferriss or the next Marie Forleo or the next insert influencer, this is the strategy to be able to do that, right? Plus, not only the training, I'll be guiding you step by step by step. There's weekly group mastermind calls. So Peter and I have done a lot of work on this, and we've learned exactly what it takes to get results. So the 6-Figure Influencer not only includes the training, but it also includes the hand-holding, the accountability, the support via the mastermind calls each and every week. We get on, you bring your questions and challenges, you get on the hot seat, and it's an amazing community that we can help you step by step. So this is how to build your impact, influence, and income, and ultimately turn your tool into a dream business and income that you want. So how much would that be worth to you? How much, as you look at the big picture, as you take a step back and look at where you want to go long term, how much would this information be worth to you? Well, I'm excited to invite you to apply to the 6-Figure Influencer today. GameChangersMovement.com/influencer. Go ahead, check it out. It takes 3 minutes to apply. The reason why we make people apply is because we spend a lot of time with people in the program. All right. And we want to make sure that A, we're going to be able to help people, but B, that they're people that we want to work with. All right. This is an amazing opportunity. I'm so pumped to share this because so many people have been asking us about this, specifically, how do I build my online brand and business and influence? Well, this is exactly what it takes. So guys, we're going to have some fun. GameChangersMovement.com/influencer. I'm so pumped to share this with you. And I'll share with you just a couple more things, then we're going to get into your Q questions here. But so that's it. So the 6-Figure Influencer, let me share with you a little bit about this. So we're doing something special for this first time as we share it. And I ended my Epic Launch service, which was just a book launch, done for you book launch for $18,000. That was the fee that we would charge people. Of course, we're not going to charge you that. Okay. This program is going to be sold publicly for $2,997. But since this is the first time that we're sharing this, we're not going to offer it for that either. Okay? What we're doing with this special introductory offer is giving a big discount on the regular price, and we're adding lifetime access to the training, Because as we go for New York Times bestseller, as we go and build our brand and test all these different things and continue to optimize Facebook ads and do different things that we're going to share with you, we're going to keep adding it to the training. All right, so this is a long-term game that you guys can really learn how to ultimately build that influencer business. And lastly, we're going to add over $2,000 in free bonuses on top of all this. It's absolutely a no-brainer. So let's talk about those bonuses. One of the bonuses, like I shared, is those group mastermind calls. I really want to be there to support you and guide you and hold your hand and answer your questions each and every single week. And the way that I'm going to do that is with the mastermind calls. Next is the vault, where you can just copy and paste the templates. You can copy and paste the emails about how to get reviews, how to get people on your podcast, how to do this, that, and the other. Copy and paste. We've done hundreds of book launches. I'm going to give you the scripts that are proven to work. Peter's got an amazing training on how to build massive online influence that we're going to show you that will totally change the game for you. We're going to give you some private interviews and training from the top influencers in the world and the top people behind the influencers to show you what actually to do, what actually matters. It's everything that you need to get results. Again, we've done so much work on this to see what does it take to get those success stories. What did we ultimately drive for our best programs? What do other programs not offer that you absolutely need? Well, you need the training, but you also need the live calls and interaction, that mentorship to get some Q&A, some back and forth. You need that accountability. You need specific examples or case studies, the copy and paste scripts, the support to go on this journey to build that ultimate business that you want. This is everything that you need all in one. And this is why I'm so pumped about this. So I want to invite you to apply. Again, it takes 3 minutes here. Let me go ahead and pop this up on the boom. Beautiful. So you guys can see it there in the chat and go ahead and click it. But I'm going to warn you, you must apply by Tuesday to get this special introductory offer, right? Tuesday at midnight, this special offer that I just shared with you with all the bonuses that were included with the discounted pricing and everything, it all shuts down. Tuesday at midnight. Why? Is because we're kicking off these founding members. We're kicking off this group and we're really committed to creating some success stories. And we want you to be those success stories. So here's what to do next. Go to gamechangersmovement.com/influencer. All right. Fill in the 3-minute application. We're going to schedule a call right away. I've got my calendar blocked off for today, tomorrow, and some of Saturday as well, to get on the phone with you and go through your goals and go through what you want to accomplish and go through the strategy of how you're going to get there in this opportunity. It doesn't come around too often. And I'm really, really excited to kind of share this with you. So the step-by-step training includes so many things, but I don't want to overwhelm you with the content. That's what most programs will do. They'll overwhelm you with all the content that they potentially have, right? That's not what we're doing here. We're going to give you exactly what you need. Again, having built up multiple influencer businesses, this is what you need to make happen. So you're going to start with the 6-figure influencer scorecard. This is your roadmap. This is exactly step by step, like a checklist that you're going to follow, and I'm going to teach you how to master each one of these. We're going to go through the $1 Million Positioning Workshop. You're going to go through this. You're going to send me your results from that, and I'm going to help you tweak it and optimize it to really set yourself up for some massive success. I'm going to show you how to earn your first $1,000 in 30 days if you're just starting out from scratch. And it's easy to get to that first $1,000. And once you do, then you're off to the next level. $10,000 or $20,000, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, right? That first $1,000 is key. How to create an industry-leading book and launch it. Like I've done hundreds of launches. We've moved a lot of books. I'm going to teach you everything about that and how to get a lot of reviews on repeat. That's something that we're going back to and really, really revamping, because getting reviews is absolutely key. Next, remember these 4 phases. The better that we do at each one of these, the better that you're going to ultimately do in your brand and business, all right? Dial in your positioning, get that best-selling book or tool, set up your dream back-end business, scale that traffic and exposure, and put it all together so you can create life and business on your terms. This is the opportunity, guys. GameChangersMovement.com/influencer. That's what it's all about. So some of the results that I want to have you take away from this is being positioned as a leading authority and influencer, building a big audience and following, and turning your tool, that book or that offering, into an evergreen profit-producing machine. It's what I've used. It's what so many of the biggest and best names use. It's what Peter uses. Peter is working on another book. I'm working on another book. Why? Because this strategy just continues to work and will continue to work. All that you have to do is apply now. So let me ask you, where will you be in 12 months? What will your life look like? What will your business, what will your days be spent on? What's that lifestyle? What's that influence look like? Will you be like Angie here? She joined, and within a couple weeks, I'm talking a couple weeks, she got to her first 5-figure month ever, which is $10,000 or more. Carol, what I love about the program is that the content doesn't expire. It's a learn, grow, take action, and move on to the next step type of program, perfect for those who are serious about becoming successful. Alexis, who's a social media influencer, amazing person. If you have something to say and want your voice to be heard, I highly recommend joining Tim, who is absolutely crushing it. He's a consultant and podcaster. He's in fact coming out with his book. He's a coach as well. He says Austin and Peter's program is for real. And they're awesome. Austin really knows how to help you zero in on exactly what you want to say and how to say it on a schedule. I'm here to get you guys results. Peter is as well. All right. And he knows what sells. Well, Peter and I both will teach you exactly that. And Sharon, who's an absolute rock star. Sharon, I love you. One of the many attributes that make Austin stand out above the rest. He hasn't forgotten what it's like to be beginning at the starting line. He's not a pump you up kind of cheerleader. Instead, he's in the trenches. I'm always sharing what's working right now, what we're working on behind the scenes to show you what actually works. It's not theory. It's what we're working on. So the book's that tool to drive all those opportunities to scale your business and income. Remember that it's all about momentum. That's what I want you guys to get, because that's when the fun starts. That's when the opportunities are flowing left and right. So the formula for massive success is down to a couple things. It's having the right support around you, combined with a proven roadmap, the proven systems, the proven strategies, and being able to guide you and support you step by step, right? That's what the Six-Figure Influencer is all about. So apply today to make sure that you get this special offer. Again, this is the first time that I've shared this publicly, right? So this special discounted price, the offer, the bonuses that I shared with lifetime access, and also 90 days of the mastermind every single week is only available if you apply by end of day Tuesday. So over $2,000 in bonuses. Like I talked about, the 90 days of the weekly group mastermind calls, the vault, the scripts, the massive online influence, the private interviews, and everything. But we reward action takers around here. And some of you guys have already applied. I've got my email blowing up already, which is cool. But for those first 10 that apply, what you're going to get is something in addition to what I've shared so far. And that's 3 months access to the Millionaire Mentor calls. Imagine learning from Tai Lopez and Robert Kiyosaki and Grant Cardone and Marie Forleo directly. Imagine being able to ask them questions. Well, we've got the biggest and best influencers in the world each month coming and sharing their wisdom directly with you. And right now, you get 3 months access to this as a special bonus. That's an additional $591 value. I don't know if we've gotten past, I'm sure we've gotten past the first 10 already because my email was just keep being in there. But for those of you that apply here, while we're here live for the next few minutes before we get into the Q&A, you will also get access to this. My team knows to flag you guys and give you that special bonus as well. So you've watched to the end of this presentation. You've seen the Six-Figure Influencer program. You know how you can become an authority and make more money than ever. And you know that being strategic about what you do is the smart move. At the beginning, we talked about having a strategy, and that alone will make your life so much easier. Well, this is the strategy. That's why the biggest names continue to use this day in and day out. All right. Well, right now you can learn how to do the exact same. All right. I invite you to apply. GameChangersMovement.com/influencer. Check it out. Get the proven roadmap, get the support, get that guidance, and let's make you to be a massive success story. All right. So apply to join. And Peter usually talks about this. I asked him one time, what's the number one reason why most people fail? And if you guys have seen him answer this question, he goes on a rant about how most people fail because they always live on someday I'll. They always live in the future of like feeling like things are going to be perfect timing at some other time. They don't tell themselves that now matters. That's why most people fail. But you guys are here committing yourself to success, committing to your education, committing to your future because you're telling yourself that now matters, right? This is a long-term game, and I want to help you get there. I want to show you the strategy. I want to help support you and answer your questions and just build that momentum that's possible because I've seen it change so many lives. It changed my life, everything that I've shared with you here today, and I want to do the same for you. So people don't regret building their dream business, that dream lifestyle business, right? They just wish they did it sooner. I spent 5.5 years in the corporate world where I just think sometimes like, man, what if I started to do something that I was passionate about that I could also make a lot of profit at the same time, that I could also impact a lot of lives, that I could also have a crazy opportunity each and every day, that I could travel at the same time, right? They don't regret doing it. They just wish they did it sooner. That's why I want you guys to remember this training for years to come, is to show you what the long term looks like, shift your perspective on what's possible, and have you start to take control. This is it, right? So apply to join, over 2.5K in bonuses, and that's the opportunity, guys. We're going to get into your questions here. And link, awesome questions here, guys. I'm just looking at them all. So guys, obviously if you're here and you're wondering, is this opportunity for me? If you're still here, hopefully you got something out of it that shows that this is the opportunity for you, right? We're looking for some founding members for this program to ultimately be our next success stories. I want you guys to be that success story. The reason why we drive to applications is because we spend so much time and energy and effort with everybody in the program that we want the right people, right? Not only the right people that we want to spend time with and the ones that we can really support, that have the potential, that are willing to put in the work and are serious, but also the ones that are good for the group, right? You're interacting with others. You're learning from others in the group as well. And you've got that mastermind network that every entrepreneur, every business person in the world needs. I need it. Peter needs it. Gary Vee needs it. We all need that, right? So that's the system, guys. Really, really pumped to get into your questions now. Great question here from Link. Do we need a book manuscript ready before we join? No. You do not. Actually, let me just turn on my video again. Let me turn on my video, guys. Stop sharing my screen. Let's see. Know a little bit about the offering there. So link, let me just do this. There, now I can see the chat at the same time. Okay, do we need a book manuscript ready before we join? No. Okay, most people that come in do not have a manuscript ready. So either A, you're going to write it, or B, you're going to use a tool like my mentor does. I mentioned that he's almost at $1 million a month. Pretty crazy, right? He uses a 12-page guide in the same exact way. The same exact way. Again, you're looking to attract people to your brand, differentiate yourself, get that credibility using the $1 million positioning, right? Then drive them to what you really want. That's a little bit more lucrative. I know a lot of you guys want to do coaching or speaking or consulting or online programs. I love online programs, or sell more books even. But no, Link, you definitely don't need to, don't share a provider. I'm not sure what that means. So you don't need the manuscript ready. So we'll help you do it. And the thing is, guys, the reason why this is so important is I want you to do it right. If you don't do it right, then you're going to regret that you did. You get one first opportunity, right? And launching hundreds of books and working with so many authors and influencers, part of my biggest job was to slow down the process just to make sure that we did it right. Because if we rush certain things that really, really matter, you're not going to make that big splash. And if you make that big splash, that's when everything becomes effortless. Like I talked about what happens when you build influence, that the opportunities are just coming to you, that you can be selective and say yes and no to the right opportunities that you want. It comes down to influence, right? Cool. Hey, Austin, you didn't mention the special price. Not that it matters, but he's still cheap. It still helps. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. So here's the deal, guys. If you're interested only in price, this probably isn't for you. If you're interested in building a life and business on your terms, this is for you. The price doesn't matter. The cost doesn't matter nearly as much as the return, okay? The reason why we're going to applications is if you're not the right fit for this, we're not going to even offer it to you, okay? We want people who are ultimately going to build that business where they're going to, be impacting a lot of lives, have influence, and make the income that they want. All right. This is the same strategy for people that are trying to, just quit their job and travel and make $25,000 a year as it is for people that want to get that first 6 figures on their own, as it is that we're using to ultimately take our 7-figure business to $10 million and beyond. Same strategy. Okay. Same strategy, same flow, simplifying, because there's so much that you guys can do. All right. I remember when I was starting out online, I was just kind of overwhelmed with all the opportunities. I was seeing so many people around me just succeed and have these crazy success stories, right? And getting so many big results, but I wasn't. Why, right? Why? Because it came down to my positioning, my authority, right? And those things are obviously related, and using, it just all flows. And it's got to all flow, because if it doesn't, then you're working hard doing one thing here and there, and that's not the way to succeed. So, I don't know the story of every big influencer out there, but most that I know have somebody behind them that's kind of sharing all this stuff and showing. That's what I was for Peter and so many authors. I was always behind the scenes helping him see how simple this all can be when it flows well. We've got the Caribbean. What's up, Sephora? Hey, what other questions do you guys have? I'm going to go back through these old questions here. Yeah, this is live. Hey, Phil. Hey, Christopher. Glad to have you guys live. Let's see. This is included. Yeah, Phil, it does include help with the book launch. Again, some people don't even have a book, and we're not going to go through that portion of the training with you. But for those of you that do, we're going to help you specifically set up your book on Amazon. We prefer self-publishing, which some of you are going to get traditional deals from a New York publishing house. But yes, we help you with the book launch. Again, I've done hundreds of book launches. I've simplified it into a 5-phase system where you just follow it step by step by step by step, and you're guaranteed to become a #1 bestseller. And if you have that #1 bestseller status, guess what? That stays with you for the rest of your life, right? That's something that never goes away. That's a huge credibility factor. So, cool. Next question. Let's see here. Look at Steven. Austin and Peter already made me $50,000 without the book. Steven, we haven't even added some of these strategies yet, right? That's awesome. This is huge. Congrats, Steven. I'm excited for the next level with you. Game Changers Academy. Yeah, Game Changers Academy is awesome. Some of you guys are a good fit for the Game Changers Academy and not this. And that's fine. Still apply, because when we talk, we'll talk about what's the best fit for you. And if you're starting out and there's something that's not going to ultimately a good fit for you, again, we're not going to offer it. All right. I want to become the first me with that kind of influence. I don't know what that means, Nicholas, but hey, brother, I'm going to help you. Message me on, okay. Let's see what other questions are popping in. Should we start getting more attention and exposure on social media now? Ashton, great question. Should we start gaining more attention and exposure on social media now before we start the program? Ashton, the answer is no. Remember the first piece. So I walked through the 4 phases. Everybody thinks, I just need more traffic and exposure. I just want more traffic. So they're learning about Facebook ads. They're trying social media. They're doing this, that, and the other. All this other stuff that doesn't matter unless you get the first couple phases right. Okay? Unless you get the positioning right. You're clear on who you're helping and how you're helping them. Then you've got your tool that you're going to use to, otherwise you're going to be doing all this work and they're not going to give a darn, right? Number 3, we need you to be able to monetize, right? That's what you guys, like, everybody's, it's so funny. I talk with, so many people and they're like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's nothing related to money. And I'm like, all right, why do you want to do that? Well, why do you want to do that? Well, why do you want to do that? It all comes back to the one reason. They want money, right? So I cut through the BS that people are telling me. And I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do all that stuff, which is important, like impacting millions of lives, doing something on your terms, whatever it is, being that leader in your community that people look up to, being the person that you can potentially be. But at the end of the day, it comes back to money. I want you to get an ROI. If you don't, it pains me to my core. All right. So we're going to talk about money. So if we do the positioning first, if we've got a tool that people are going to care about and be able to take action on what you're offering, and you're going to be able to monetize that, then, Ashton, the traffic becomes easy. The building the influence, the building the following becomes easy, right? So, sorry, that was a long-winded way of saying, follow this step by step by step. Again, I had a podcast. I was doing social media. I was sending out the weekly newsletter. I was messing with my blog, had new articles coming out all the time, tweaking my website here and there. I was doing everything but those first couple steps, which I'm not alone. Odds are a lot of you guys here are not, or just like me, right? You're not focusing on these steps and these. Again, I wish I knew this order. I wish I did. How did you start your big game? Zaheen, tell me a little bit more. Start my big game. So I started my big game. Oh, here's one thing I can share. Is the secret to success, guys. Write this down because this is important. The secret to success is to have success. Seriously. The secret to success is to have success. What does that mean? In the eyes of the external world, the people that didn't know me, my first 9 months online, I was a miserable failure. I had no social proof, no credibility in their eyes. I had content that they didn't give a darn about. They didn't know, like, or trust me, right? And then something changed. I had a book come out and I had some success with that. And guess what happens once you have success? Other successful brands, other successful people, other successful influencers start flocking to you. I went from having zero opportunity over here to having insane opportunities over here. And this line is not 6 years. It happened like that, right? Once you get into the good or the, what do I call it? I haven't talked about this for a little bit. The Good Boys Club or whatever. Once you get into the Success Club, like once you get into that group of people that are authorities, dude, it becomes so easy. Like I said, with Peter, he doesn't have to do anything. And now that he has influence, he's got literally amazing opportunities every single day. Same thing with me. Same thing with, other people that we work with, right? It's all about momentum. It's about creating that success story first and then leveraging that success to more of what you really want. And at the end of the day, it's about momentum. Okay. I hope that helps. Let's see. Buster. Paige, what's up, Paige? Man, we've got a few game changers here. This is awesome. Nicholas, you were saying something about becoming the next Richard Branson. Oh, Richard Branson, I love that guy. He's on my vision board. What a legend. I'll talk about that here in just a second. I'm just reading all you guys' comments and questions. Guys, we've got some time here, so we can definitely go into any questions you have. So does any of this diversify from book launch to creating and selling other digital products? A membership. Diversify from the book launch to creating and selling other. So Link, I'm not sure of your specific question here, but what what we've done here, Peter and I, is put together the entire system. Okay, so yes, there's the strategy, yes, there's the tactics, but then there's also the support and feedback and guidance. For instance, after this, we've got the hangout call with people in the Six-Figure Influencer and the Six-Figure Author, which some of you guys have heard about the program. Actually, a couple of you guys are in the Six-Figure Author, which at the end of the day is the same kind of thing, right? So many people were asking about, how do I become that influencer? That's what I really want. That's why we made the pivot to focus on the Six-Figure Influencer. Okay, so how does this diversify from a book launch to a program? Link, it's the same kind of strategy, but it's putting it all together to ultimately create that brand and business. And creating a brand and business is a different conversation than just making $10,000 from a book to a program, right? Which will teach you, but it's just one piece. And again, a lot of people don't even have a book. For instance, we've got a tequila company here. Like, I'm sure you don't have a book yet, but we can talk about what can you use at the front. So number one's positioning, obviously. Then we're going to find that tool that you can use to give value, to attract people in, to move them up to what you really want. Okay, it's the full system to create a brand and business. That's it. I'm currently setting up a package that provides people with peace of mind, way to be safe online. Yes, Phil, that's a great offering. That's what people are looking for. Nicholas, let's talk about, let's see here, the next Richard Branson. How do you become the next Richard Branson? Guys, same exact thing. You have success, right? He has so many opportunities right now. He could create a new business all day, every day. Why? Because he's learned what works. He made it work. Now he can do it over and over again, right? So with success comes opportunity, right? And in the future, 10 years from now, I'm going to have a bunch of companies. I'm not going to have 400 like the billionaire Richard Branson, but I am going to have multiple companies. Does this program help with clarity? Absolutely, Paige. So what I actually work you through right at the beginning is figuring out what that direction is. Who is it that you want to be? Then we're going to go through some research phase to ultimately see and reverse engineer those people that you admire. That's how I ultimately came up with this strategy, is reverse engineering the people that I admire, right? Then I got really clear. Well, I want to have an offering like Marie Forleo. I want to talk about the topics like T. Harv Eker, and I want to build my online brand and business kind of like Brendon Burchard. So at the middle of those three influencers that I really admired, not only did they all have books, but I had clarity on kind of the brand that I wanted to build. And that's what I started to go and do. And then I built the book, obviously, and ultimately created that. Since then, I've pivoted away from the financial advice to be teaching you guys about this, teaching you how to build impact, influence, and income. So we'll get you clear from the start page. And then, guess what? Then it's about creating a specific plan of action. Okay, because you're going to have the Six-Figure Influencer scorecard, that checklist to follow, but we won't know exactly what order to focus on things and how to do them until you get clear with what that end goal is. Personal trainer, working with my clients, would there be more trainings? Yes, Buster, we can definitely make sure that you see all this, because it's going to help you. Again, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you want to build your impact, influence, and income, this is it. Bulletproof mindset. Yep. Love that. Okay. Tell us about how you keep working your working pace on a daily basis. What's your thoughts on that makes you want to progress? So Zaheen, here's why I get so fired up day in and day out is we get to choose the people that we work with now. At first, I was taking on anybody and everybody, and frankly, it sucked because all it takes is one negative client, one negative customer, one negative person in your team, one negative person in your environment, and it's just tough, right? Now, occasionally we get a negative person that slips through the cracks, but right now we drive everything to applications because we want to work with leaders. We want to work with A players. We want to work with people that have potential, and guess what? That gives us a better opportunity for success. It helps us have such high success rates and success stories, and it makes it a lot more fun for everybody involved. So I get so passionate about this because Not only are we reaching millions of people, but we're helping other people reach millions of people, right? There's a trickle effect. Like, we're creating leaders. So Zaheen, I don't know where you live, but let's just make up an example and say that you live in the middle of a small town in Montana. Well, I want you to be the leader and the influencer in that space that people look up to. I want you to impact your family's life and have this trickle effect, not only this public profile, but also you become this person. Peter and I every day talk about one thing. That's becoming world-class in all areas. All right? A world-class person with a world-class business with a world-class life. That's what it's all about. And this is the way to do it. Again, I was in the corporate world where I was working and making a lot of money, but I was working on something that I wasn't passionate about, that I didn't frankly care at all about. I didn't care about the oil industry. I didn't care about lubricants and motor oils and all that, right? I want you to do something that you're passionate about and make an impact and making a big income at the same time. I'm a musician. Do you think a book would help? The best option for me? Soul. Absolutely. What's going to be able to differentiate yourself? What's that tool that you can use to do something different? The musician field, especially rapper, is so hard to differentiate yourself. What you want to do is to create those raving fans. How do you do that? You've got to find them, and you've got to find them in a different way that everybody else is trying to do. Who was I just talking about? 37 Signals, what's his name? Great company. They created Basecamp. They created some amazing software. They make probably a couple $1 million a month. This is a software company that took their story, put it into a book, and that book turned into millions of dollars for them. This is a software company, right? So same exact thing. It doesn't matter what industry. You've got to, we call it kind of the residual effect. What are you doing that you can then turn into something else? For instance, I know a couple of you guys have a podcast. You can easily take that podcast and those interviews, have them transcribed, and then turn that into a book. That's what I did. And I turned that book into over $1 million. Crazy, right? Like, just be strategic, guys. This is what it's all about. Cool. So Zaheen, if you were working on something that you're passionate about, you're going to get fired up. Like, I get up, at 5 something every day, if not before then. I don't remember the last time my body hit an alarm, because I'm just like, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. I've lived the 4-hour work week lifestyle, where I had an automated business. I've lived the 80 to 100 hour work week lifestyle where I'm just grinding. And both are good as long as you're happy with what you're doing. So pick an industry that you're interested in and figure out a way to implement your skills with something that brings you value as well. All right. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be most successful when you're the happiest, when you're growing, when you're challenging yourself, when you're in your zone of greatness, right? Let me let's go over here. Okay. So guys, we got just a couple minutes left. Let me see what other questions are popping up here. I have a sign shop. I do personal training, and I'm a promoter for Level Thrive Experience. Oh, nice. Buster, yes. You're definitely trying to do too much at once. What I like to teach people to do, Buster, is to make sure that it all fits together, right? We've got to make sure that this over here connects with this over here, which connects with this over here. Cool? Because you're spending a lot of effort here. You're spending a lot of effort there. You're spending a lot of effort here. But what would happen if you had this compound effect of all three working together, right? That's what we always do, is we've got the platform, we've got this book or the tool, and we've got the back-end business, all three working in harmony. That way, when we're driving traffic to one, it moves to the next, and it moves to the next, and it moves to the next, and you build this momentum. And with success comes what? More success, right? Cool. Yeah, Paige, definitely start, like the research is super crucial. But before you can go full speed ahead, you do need that clarity. You do need that confidence in the direction. So see where you want to go, okay? And you don't need to know all the details. This stops so many people, guys. is trying to know all the details, A to Z, before you take step one, before you take step A. But here's what happens. Get some clarity on what step Z looks like. What's that end result? Then take step A. Guess what shows up? What you should do for step B. Then shows up for what you should do for step C. So what's step A right now? Step A is to apply for this. Let's get on the phone and talk about where you're at right now. Some of you already have a six-figure business and you're looking to explode it, right? Some of you are looking to get to seven figures and beyond. Some of you are just looking for that first 10,000 bucks. Whatever it is, it's the same step. Apply, because we're going to get you clarity. We're going to create a specific action plan, and we're going to follow through on that action plan. How? We're going to give you the training. And the training is not just, go watch this and you're good. No, it's like apply these three things that I talked about, fill in this action guide, fill in this scorecard, and send it to me. I'll give you feedback on it, and then boom, you're good into the next step. And if you implement all these items like a checklist, crush it, right? Crush it. It's about momentum. It's about making sure that everything works together. So guys, that's it. I appreciate all the amazing questions. You guys, are just headed for some awesome things. The thing that gets me most excited is when you guys share a little bit about your vision and what you're trying to accomplish and like what brought you here. And I hope what I share with you here today is going to help you do that. I think if you're still here, obviously some, if not all of what I shared is going to be able to do it. The reason why I'm so passionate about this is because it works. And with it working brings those opportunities that I've been talking about. And that's when it's so much fun, right? Not only are you impacting lives, you're building your influence and opportunities, and you're making a good income along the way. That's the perfect income, or that's the perfect formula, right? So Peter and I have worked with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of entrepreneurs to figure out what does it take to succeed. And it takes everything that we're including here with the six-figure influencer program. It takes the support, it takes the training, it takes that motivation, that accountability, and it takes a strategy that is proven over and over and over again. Because if we just help you think a little bit differently, if we help you improve your sales or get you an automated platform set up or do just one thing in this program, do you think that it would be worth it for you? I mean, it's free to apply. And for those of you that have applied already, congrats. I look forward to chatting with you. Again, I blocked off the next couple of days here to chat with you today and tomorrow, and look forward to doing that. So apply, schedule a time that works for you. We'll talk a little bit about your vision and where you want to go. We'll talk about your goals and ultimately see if you're a good fit for the program. If you're not, we'll point you in the right direction for what you should focus on, and think about that. Think, what's that big challenge or question that's holding you back right now? What's that big hurdle? For a lot of people, it's right here. It's some excuse that we're telling ourselves of, I'm just too busy right now, or, I don't have the funds or whatever. I've been there, right? So is Peter. Everybody that you look up to, guess what, has been in a position of failure, all right? But what they do, they made a decision. They told themselves now matters. They knew that they had that potential inside them. They knew that someday they were going to be a massive success. So what they do? They committed. They took action. And they figured it out step by step by step by knowing where they wanted to go and how to take step A. Step A is to click the link, apply now. For those of you that have applied already, you're going to get an extra bonus, but let's talk about where you want to go. Let's talk about this program. Let's talk about how it's going to help you. Let's talk about ultimately some of those first steps that you can take. So I'm pumped to chat with you guys. Again, thank you for your time here today. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I'm excited to reveal these strategies to you and really pumped to invite you into the six-figure influencer program and family. We're going to have a lot of fun together. We're going to take massive action. We're going to build some crazy momentum. You're going to love everyone else in the community, on the calls, and it's going to be awesome. All right. So thank you guys. Any questions that you have, let me know, but we'll chat here in the next couple of days. So schedule your time. So apply the six-figure or GameChangersMovement.com/influencer. Go there, takes 3 minutes, and we'll schedule a call. But looking forward to it, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. All right. See you.